Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited to be here today. Today is the D-Day. I'm going to be talking about the opportunities in Germany. I'm sure you'll be waiting for this day. First of all, for those that are new to my channel, I'm going to be reintroducing myself, right? So my name is Esther Oji and my channel name is Make It with Angie. Like I said, today I'm going to be talking about the opportunities in Germany and the requirement that you need if you're planning to migrate to Germany, and the visa categories depending on what you want to do. So guys, let's get right into it. I know you guys have been waiting for this day, right? I promise. Actually, since I moved into Germany, it's been about settling in and everything, so I had to try to create time for this, even if I still have a whole lot of things to do. But because of you guys, I'm always here. I've gotta show up for you guys, right, and give you all the information that you need. I moved into Germany last month, and I started working this month. So I came through the FSJ, which is called Freiwilliges Soziales Jahr in Germany. So for the English, it means like a voluntary service, right, for a period of 1 year. So depending, it can be 18 months, 1 year, 18 months, right? But it can also be lesser. So it can be lesser, like 6 months to 1 year to 18 months, depending on what you want to do. So that's what I'm doing right now in Germany before I get into other stuff I want to do in the future. A lot of opportunities in Germany. Like I said in one of my videos, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. Like I said in one of my videos, we have different, categories of visa if you want to come into Germany. We have the student visa, we have the work visa, we have the family reunion or visitation. We have the FSJ, which I just said now, that's the opportunity I used, which is a voluntary service in English. And we have the vocational training, which is called Ausbildung in Germany. So what I'm gonna name each of this visa one after the other and give you guys the requirements that are needed for each of them. But take note of this one thing: the most important thing you need to come to Germany, if you do not have it, is a waste of time. Quote me anywhere, okay? You need your German language. If you do not have German language, there's no point in coming to Germany, because you know why? How do you want to communicate when you come? How do you want to communicate? It's going to be difficult because you will barely see people that speaks English here. So if you see someone that speaks English, lucky you, but then German. So you need to have the German certificate, right? You need to learn the language, write the exam, and make sure you pass it. So that is key. So if you are considering coming to Germany, please go learn the language. Go learn the language. Noted. So also, one of the things that you need generally, I'm just saying the general stuff that you need, right, to come to Germany. Another general stuff that you need to come to Germany is your international passport. You need your international passport. So if you do not have an international passport yet, please go to the immigration office, go request for international passports. I don't know how much that costs, but when I was getting my own done, I think I paid like 50,000. But the last time I found out the new price, that was last year. I think last year November or so, October, last year October, it was 80,000. So I really do not know the current price of processing an international passport. But anyways, go find out and go make it done if you are planning to come to Germany, right? So then yeah, those are the general stuffs that you need to migrate, like for all the opportunities. Like one of the requirements, general stuff that you need: your language, right? Then you need your international passport. So now let's talk about the visa categories that we have in Germany, or the opportunities that are in Germany. We have the student visa. So for those that want to study in Germany, you're going to be using student visa to migrate to Germany. If you want to study in Germany, you're coming through the what? Student visa. That's the category of visa you're coming. The requirement for the student visa are: you need to have a letter of admission from a recognized German university. Another thing you need is the proof of sufficient fund, which is your block account. You need to have a block account, right? So with what? 12,000 euro, with at least 12,000 euro. So another thing you need also is what's your health insurance. You need a health insurance that is going to cover you when you're in Germany. So for the block accounts, before I digress, what they do is that when you get your 12,000 euros in your block account, so when you come to Germany, they're going to be paying you, some money every month from that 12,000 euros. So what the 12,000 euros is for your upkeep, because no one is going to be paying you. Of course, no one is going to be taking care of you. So is that money that you're going to use to take care of yourself. That's 12,000 euro. You're going to take care of yourself for a year. The German government, I don't know how they do it, they're going to have access to that money because they're going to be paying you from the money every month. So you're going to be getting some amount of money every month, right? That you use for your upkeep for each month for a year. So that's what the 12,000 euro is for. Just in case you're asking and you want to know why you have to do that. So, but then you can also, when you come to Germany, you can still choose to do a mini job. It's called Nebenjob in Germany. You can choose to do a mini job while you're studying, but then you still need the 12,000 euros. But you also need a previous academic certificate, right? A proof of previous academic education. You need to have that. So, for example, your university degree, your transcripts, it's needed. So it's also part of the requirement. So finally, you need to have your German language. So the level of German language that you need is B2 to C1 German. Those are the major documents that you need. About the study visa, there's some courses that requires just English, right? Depending on what you're going to do or depending on what you're going to study. So you do not necessarily need the German. Depending if you're doing the course that just requires your English proficiency, you don't necessarily need the old German, but then it is wise you at least do German, just so that when you come over, you're gonna be able to communicate with other people, because this is a German speaking country. Even if your course just requires English, but you're gonna meet with other people, like Germans and from other cultures, from other countries, and the one language that they speak here majorly is German. So it's advisable to at least learn the level of German, at least to an extent. For the work visa, you need to have a contract from whoever that is giving you the job, that is offering you the job, which is like a binding job offer. You also need to have a recognized qualification. What I mean by recognized qualification is that your certificate needs to be recognized in Germany. It is called Anerkennung, which is recognition. So you need to recognize your certificate. Another thing you need is proof of qualification, like your degree, your certificate, and all your vocational training, like whatever training you've done, that is related to this job. And you also need to have your health insurance also, which is very important. You need to have your health insurance. You need to have a good paying salary, at least the minimum of what's expected of that particular job. You also need to have your proof of accommodation, right? So your company or your organization can choose to give you an accommodation, whatever, but if not, you're going to find your accommodation yourself. So you need to have your proof of accommodation. The next thing on our list is a voluntary service, which I'm doing currently. You need your what? Contract from your organization. You also need your German, which is the A2 to B1 German. So you can use A2 German or you can use B1 German, right? So if you have your A2, you can consider doing voluntary service, and if you have B1, you can also consider doing voluntary service. So you also need to have what? A proof of financial means. So maybe your organization, not maybe, your organization will pay you. So you're going to be getting, it's called Taschengeld in Germany. You're going to be getting Taschengeld, which means pocket money, right? So every month. So it depends on your organization, on the amounts that they're going to be giving you every month. You also need to have proof of accommodation. So your organization can choose to give you accommodation, or you find one yourself. You also need to have what? Health insurance. For FSJ, you can work in the healthcare, like hospitals. You can work in the Altenheim, which is called the old people's home. You can work in the kindergarten, that's you're going to work with children. You can work in the cultural sector, sports, whatever you find yourself in. So yeah, that's just about the FSJ. For me, I feel like the FSJ is like a start. For example, you do not really know what you want to do immediately. I want to migrate to Germany. I don't want to go through the study visa. I don't want to use a studium. You can just start with voluntary service, and then when you start with voluntary service, it will kind of give you an insight of what you want to do, right? Like, okay, do you really want to consider furthering into whatever you find yourself when you're doing your voluntary service, or you want to do something else, maybe you do not like it and just want to do something else. So it's just like I call it like a base, a foundation, to kind of show you what you really are interested in or what you really want to do. The next thing on our list is the vocational training, the Ausbildung. Like, it's very popular because a lot of people are doing Ausbildung, and a lot of people want to do Ausbildung, which lasts for like 3 to 3.5 years. Yeah, depending on the Ausbildung you're doing. We have different Ausbildung in Germany. We have the nursing vocational training, which is called Ausbildung, which lasts for like 3 years, and where you're working in hospitals, you work in Altenheims, you work in ambulante. There's again no Ausbildung. So there are a whole lot of Ausbildung. But for the Ausbildung is like one of the Ausbildung that they pay high amount of money, and a whole lot of people are getting into doing Ausbildung. So yes, it's a Ausbildung that you can never be unemployed. You would always find work as a nurse, as a registered nurse here in Germany. So there's a whole lot of opportunities for Ausbildung and some other Ausbildung. The requirements for Ausbildung is your contract. You need your contract from your organization. You need your German also, which is the B2 German. It depends on the Ausbildung. Let's say that way. Depending on the Ausbildung you're doing, for example, the Ausbildung, which is the nursing vocational training, you need to have at least B2 German. Then I think IT, which is informatic. We have informatic. We also need to have like B2 German. For informatic Ausbildung, you need to have B2 German. Then there are some other Ausbildung that I think requires B1 and all that. You need to make your research on that. The requirement also that you need your secondary school, your primary and secondary school certificate. You really do not need university certificate at all. You just need your primary and secondary school, like I think it says something like up to 12 months school or study, right, of academics. You also need your proof of accommodation wherever you're staying. If you're going to be getting a place for yourself, or if you have a family or friend here in Germany, you need to prove your accommodation. You also need your health insurance, your financial means. For family reunion, for example, if you're living in Germany and you have a family in Nigeria or wherever, right, and you want to bring your family down, over to Germany to live with you, you can do that through the family reunion visa. You that is in Germany that wants to bring, your family down, you need to have a residence permit. You also need to be legally married. You need to have proof of your documents, of your marriage certificate, photos and everything, that prove that you're legally married. You also need to have a good living space in Germany, adequate space that you and your partner or your family is going to be staying. You also need to have proof of financial means, sufficient income that is going to be used to take care of, your family. The partner that is over in Nigeria needs to at least have A1 German. So if not that, you might not really get it. Okay, you have to put this in place, before you can consider getting the visa. Before coming down here, the visitation visa, which is also called the Schengen visa or the Type C visa, it's just like a short-term stay visa, right, for like 90 days to 180 days. All you need also is just A1 German. You don't need so much, you just need A1 German. You also need to have proof of residence, like where you're going to be staying for the period of time. You must show purpose of like visitation, whether you're visiting family or friend or you're going for tourism. You must show your purpose of visitation. For the visitation visa, you need an invitation letter from the person inviting you to come over. For au pair, you need to have like a host family. You need a host family, someone that is going to take you in. So what you're going to be doing is that you're going to be like taking care of the children. So this family would like have a child or more. You're going to be taking care of the children and be doing like little house chores, like nothing too serious, nothing too difficult. So you're going to do it for like 6 to 12 months depending on you. This family must at least, whether it's a family or it's a single mom or it's a single dad, must at least be financially stable to be able to pay you. Someone from age 18 to 26 can do this au pair, right? So you need to find a host family that's going to take you in, right, and going to be living with them and working for them. All this must be in place for you to get your visa. So these are just the major documents that are needed for these visa categories. You need to go to the German visa website so you can check the requirements of what you need. But the important thing, if you've not gotten your German language, the foundation where you start is your German language and also your international passport. So guys, that's gonna be all for today's video. If you enjoyed this video so far, if you learned something new, if this video is for you, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel, and also leave a comment below. Okay, so if you have any addition to this, if you have any idea, if you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section and I'm gonna respond to them. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. Thank you for all the likes, thank you for all the subscribe, thank you for all the comments. I see you all, I see everything. I really appreciate you guys. Please, let's continue to grow together. Let's continue to stick to this channel. Let's continue to take this channel far to every end that it needs to get to. See you guys in our next video. Bye.